Welcome back to this week's episode, which we're going to dive deep into the nervous system. And this was inspired by one of my patients this past semester before I finished school. And I thought a lot about this topic for the last few weeks to a month. So I feel like I'm ready to give a little tidbit on this. If you've ever found yourself lying in bed, knowing you have a list of things to do, but your body just won't move, this is the video that's going to break it down for you to kind of help you understand a little bit more about what's going on in your body during this state. Feeling tired all the time, zoned out, disconnected from your life, and wondering what is wrong with me? What's going on? This is also the video for you. I want to say something really, really clearly. You're not lazy, you're not broken, and you are just dysregulated. Your nervous system is dysregulated. Let's talk about nervous system shutdown, what it actually is, and how to begin coming out of it with gentleness and compassion for yourself. Starting with some basics, the human nervous system evolved to keep us alive. That is its sole purpose of evolution in our body. It's not to make us productive or high achieving or even emotionally balanced. It responds to perceived safety or danger. That means real danger or even just the feeling of being overwhelmed, under threat, or unsupported. Your autonomic nervous system has three main states that it kind of toggles back and forth between. Your sympathetic, fight or flight, where adrenaline kicks in and you are mobilized to respond. And this is when people jump crazy heights to save themselves from an animal or whatever. This is that adrenaline phase. And or if you're in an accident and you don't feel any of the pain yet, it's the adrenaline. It's trying to keep you alive. Dorsal vagal is freeze and shutdown, where you collapse inward, numb out, or become immobile. The third one is ventral vagal, where you feel safe, connected, and calm. The state of optimal health, presence, and healing is that last one, ventral vagal. The freeze state, which is the second one that I talked about, also known as a shutdown, is a biological survival response. It's not a flaw. It's a built-in emergency brake for yourself and your body. So if you're constantly on the go and you're not giving your body and your brain and everything a rest, then you might find yourself going into a complete shutdown through illness and or just lack of motivation and numbing out and kind of taking a step back from your life and reality. It kicks in when the body senses it can't fight or flee anymore. We see it in animals that play dead when they can't escape. So, what are some signs that what it feels like to have a shutdown? What it feels like to be in a dorsal vagal state or shutdown state. Your limbs can feel so heavy. You can feel physical fatigue for no clear reason. Very foggy thinking, trouble focusing, can't concentrate, loss of motivation or even interest in things that you liked and will help you. Feeling of hopelessness, apathy, or numbness. Isolating yourself from society, feeling invisible or checked out, digestive issues, low appetite, trouble initiating action, and people throw themselves into the category of procrastinator with this one, even small things like getting out of bed or taking a shower. And this isn't laziness. This is not the lack of discipline either. This is your body trying to keep you safe by conserving your energy and disconnecting from what it perceives to be too much currently around you. And here's the kicker. So it often develops from early trauma in your childhood, chronic stress, and yes, even the people that think they're not that stressed out, but you can tell that they're stressed out, or long-term survival mode if you've been living in survival mode for a really long time. your body needs a break. Your nervous system needs a break. It can't be running on adrenaline all the freaking time. So what does your body do? It's like, okay, this person's not giving me a break. I'm going to force a break. And that's when you go into shutdown. If you're living in shutdown, it's often a sign that your system has been under too much for way too long. The part about Western culture, it glorifies productivity, entrepreneurship, and the go, go, go mentality, pushing through the discomfort and whatever's happening within our body. So when our body stops pushing, we've taught it to think we're lazy, flaky, or even broken, or something's wrong with me. And then we internalize. That internalized blame only deepens the shame that you feel and further reinforces the shutdown, instead of thinking it as okay, I've pushed myself way beyond the limits of what my body or my brain can handle right now, or have been handling, and I haven't given myself the break. And this is a forced break that is being put onto me. People will start spiraling into the other way and start having a perspective about themselves that's like, I'm lazy, broken, I don't have the energy to do the things that I used to be able to do anymore. Well, that's because you've expended all of the energy and haven't had time to rest, to recoup some of that energy back, We don't realize that this isn't a mindset issue, and it's not a lack of willpower. It's a state-dependent response. Your body is stuck in a survival loop and can be in it for a really long time. And here's what that means practically. The tools you need aren't motivational talks that's gonna get you out of this, or just do it strategies like Mel Gibson or Mel Robinson or whatever does, of like getting out of the bed in like the 5 or 3 second countdown. Like you just get up and just do it. Like that's not gonna work on you, because your body's literally in full shutdown. You need tools that speak to your nervous system, that relax and calm that nervous system, bring energy back in, and not just listening to your mind alone. Really important differentiation to make is that freeze response is not the same as rest. Resting and freeze, completely different. So let's compare the two. Freeze response, you feel disconnected, you feel foggy, you feel drained but unable to fall asleep, isolated, numb, avoidant, overwhelmed. In freeze, we're shutting down to survive because you've run to the end of your rope. Like there's no more give left in your body to give you to do the things that need to get done. You've hit the end of that road. Where rest state, which should be practiced more and more for society in general, is you feel grounded, you feel peaceful. You might be feeling really tired, but with deep recovery, you can kind of regain that energy back. You still feel connected. You feel contemplative of like, can I do more? Can I not? Blah, blah, blah. You're in a reflective, safe state still. In rest state, you're recharging to thrive still, whereas in freeze again is shut down to survive. Your body knows the difference too. So even if you're lying still in both states, the physiology, what's happening in your body is completely different. Now for some hopeful bit in here, because that was a lot of information and just I needed to break down what was what, so this next part can be a little easier. The freeze response is not permanent, so don't panic. It's a state, and states can shift, but they do so best with gentle, consistent, and body-based support rather than just your mind of like those motivational talks and just do it mindset. So I'm going to break down now 6 simple steps that help thaw the freeze state down and kind of get you back more into that rest more in that rest zone. You want to be in that middle equilibrium spot. Awareness, as always, is number 1 without judgment. So notice when you're in shutdown. Say to yourself, I'm in a freeze state and my body is trying to keep me safe. that takes you out of the shame of like, why can't I do whatever I need to get done, into more of a curiosity of like, okay, I haven't been able to achieve or knock things off of my list for a while now. Why is that? Why am I not able to expend that extra energy, instead of being like shaming yourself for it? And yeah, that perspective of telling yourself that I'm in this free state, and in this free state, I've overextended myself to the point where my body's fully putting me in shutdown right now. Add tiny movements. That's number 2. Start with very, very small. If your limbs feel heavy and you're just in a state of like couch potato mode, wiggle your fingers, like very small movements. You don't need to even take it to like going for a walk, because somebody in shutdown, a walk even feels like, oh my God, that's the end of the world. I don't even have the energy for that. So move your fingers, move your toes, do some circles of your wrist and of your ankles. Turn your head to side, stretch your spine while you're seated. Movement reawakens the nervous system without overwhelming it into like running, working out heavy, or even yoga up to this point. Like, you got to start with really small increments that let your body know that, okay, this little bit is safe and this little bit is good. And then let your body like take in that information, and then you move on to like a bigger incremental thing. Number 3 is orient to your environment. I know a lot of therapists have their own things for when you're in a panic state, or like when you're having a panic attack. This is a really good one and a similar setup on that. So you look around the room, you name 5 things that you can see, 5 things that you can hear, 5 things that you can feel, and this grounds you to the present moment, signals safety to your nervous system. People that have trauma, this one's a really good one, because you can get stuck in like a thought loop of the trauma when you're like still, and in your brain you're kind of like reliving it. So your brain and your body are like disconnected in that way at that time, in that frame of mind, because you're reliving it in your brain and your body thinks it's happening again. And so your nervous system is responding to you re-looping that memory again and again. And so then you can go into one of these states. So this technique is really good for getting yourself out of that state, of the 5 things you see, 5 things you hear, 5 things that you feel. Kind of use your senses, your 5 senses, and try to get yourself to like back into the present moment, instead of in your brain living in that traumatic event. Okay, 4 is co-regulation. This is a super simple one. I feel like people kind of already do this when they go to their friends and vent and stuff like that. So reaching out to someone who feels safe, even texting a friend, watching a calming video, a bestie on the internet, you know, like help bring you out of freeze, and listening to something that is more calming and relaxing can kind of do that for you, whether it's watching a YouTube video or actually calling up a friend. The nervous system heals faster in connection in general. So when you feel super connected to at least 1 or 2 people in your world, your nervous system has a better way of regulating itself. 5, I think we're on, vocalization and sound. So in TCM2, humming is like a really, really, really powerful tool to keep your nervous system calm and just open up your throat chakra. Humming, sighing, chanting, singing softly, these can all stimulate the vagus nerve and nudge you towards ventral vagal regulation, so back into that rest state. I know in yoga too, they do, I can't remember what the breath is called, but it's like the yogi breath, where you constrict the back of your throat and you breathe really heavy through your throat. And it's because of the vagus nerves that run through the throat down, and that that's your nerve that is like the goat of calming you down, you know, like that's the parasympathetic nervous system, the calming, relaxing. That's that's the part of the nervous system that after you get stimulated kind of brings everything back into normalcy and regulation again. So humming is a really good one because of the anatomy of how you're set up and the vagus nerve going down your throat. And or breathing like a yogi breath, breathing out like that. So I'll do it once so you guys know which yogi breath I'm talking about, but it's like I don't know if you guys could hear that or not, but you're breathing through your nose, you're not breathing through your mouth, but you're constricting the back of your throat and like really forcefully breathing out. That breath also warms up your body too, so tidbit on that. Last but not least, number 6, nourishment and hydration. Freeze response often dulls our appetite, but gentle nourishment helps signal that you are safe. So things like a warm soup, herbal tea, even drinking water is a re-regulation tool. And just remember that when you're starting to even learn about this or recognize that this is the state that you're in, healing is super slow. So every time you practice one of these things, you're laying a foundation for resilience into your mind frame, into your body, and knowing that your body can regulate itself will build the confidence and the confidence and the resiliency in yourself, that you can get through this. And when you first start paying attention to this and you're bringing your awareness that this is the state that you're in, sometimes when you're first starting out, it'll be slow, like to get yourself out of it. But the more you start recognizing it, the more you start doing it, the faster and faster you're going to get to be able to get yourself out of that freeze state back into rest. And yeah, the more you practice it, you're just going to get so much better and better, to the point where before you even get to over giving and overextending yourself to that point, you're going to be able to recall and be like, oh no, this is my limit, and this is as far as I can go, otherwise I will go into the shutdown mode. And then you'll start doing things as a prophylactic, like prevention type of stuff, rather than like reactionary as how you're going to start out, if you get what I mean. Let's do a short nervous system reset together now. So let's take a moment to sit or lie down comfortably, gently placing one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Inhale slowly through your nose and exhale through your lips like you're blowing through a straw. Let your shoulders drop down, relax your jaw, take the tongue off of the roof of your mouth, relax your eyebrows, look around your room that you're sitting in and notice the light, the colors, any sounds that may be present, and either out loud or in your head, repeat after me and say, right now, I am safe enough. One more breath in and out. Even doing something as simple as this, less than 2 minutes of a practice can help begin shift you. If you start your days off like this, or end your days off like this, or kind of sprinkle this practice throughout your day when you feel like you're being overwhelmed. Okay, last little tidbit before I am finished yapping away. I want to reiterate and summarize a little. You're not lazy. You're not broken. Your nervous system is very intelligent, and it has protected you in ways that you will never fully understand. And now, as you learn how to support it, you will begin to feel more alive, more connected, and more yourself. This journey isn't about fixing you or fully healing yourself. It's about returning home to yourself with patience, with safety, and with compassion. If any of this resonated with you, make sure you like, subscribe, and check out other videos on somatic healing, some of the TCM stuff, emotional freedom, and share this with anyone who needs this reminder today. You're not lazy, you're dysregulated, and healing is 100% possible. Until next time, bye.